Hello, everyone. I'm going to do a bit of a recap of what today's live was going to be about. The wind is going cuckoo pants outside, and the internet, it looks okay on my end, and then it was glitching. And I had recorded about 15 minutes in the live, just planning on posting it, but it only let me do about 26 seconds of it. It was 26 seconds when I said that. Wow, interesting, 26. And so I'm just going to give a little bit of a recap about the topics that I was going to cover in today's live for you. So the title of the video was called Follow Your Own Advice, and in parentheses, Judgements. And a few of the topics that I wanted to cover was Lewis Howes' parable of the fly, and try something new, try a new way, don't be the fly. So the parable of the fly is, have you ever seen a fly that's like flying into a glass window where I was like, girl, you're going to die. Like you're going to this is the only way, this is the only way, and this is the only way. But you're like, the whole window is open, like the whole door is open over there. And I know, okay, that's all right. You go that way, all right. I thought you wanted to be in the video. And oh my God, in the live, Sybil knocked over my ring light as well. It was like hysterical. I wish it's not recorded. It's nowhere. So it's just, and then to go back to the fly. So the fly's flying into the glass pane, flying, but you're like, the whole window's open, the whole door, the whole, the rest of the, just miles and miles and miles for you to do something differently and try something different. So don't be the fly. If there's something in your life, whether it be boredom or frustration, it's kind of like the same energy where it's like, oh, I'm living the same day over and over, or oh, the same situation is happening over and over and over again. This is your opportunity to do something different, to try on a new way of non-egoically saying, okay, what is the common denominator in this scene of world? Me. I'm the common denominator. I keep seeing the same thing over and over. I keep seeing this situation that's frustrating me. So I am the common denominator. It's up to me to do something different. You can, if you'd like to go quantum, glitch your own matrix, trying a new type of coffee, or taking a new route to work, or doing something different, sitting in a different chair. It was JJ, a channeler on Instagram. She's like, buy a different toothpaste, try something new on to glitch your matrix. And I've talked about it before. That's how I ended up going to California, because I, said, okay, universe, I challenge you. I'm going to glitch my matrix. And then that day I bought a ticket to the Summit of Greatness and went to California. It was last June. Yeah, it was last June. I'll never forget it. I was like, all right, world, I'm going to challenge you. And that day I was like, how are you going to make this happen? I was like, I don't know, but I bought a ticket to the Summit of Greatness and I went. So trying a new way, trying a different reaction or different response to a situation. The tarot cards that came up and the devil reversed at different times, but first it was the Lovers, was the first card that flipped over, which we've been seeing this card come up a bunch. But see how on the devil, the chains around their neck and the parallels between the two images. You know what I mean? It's the trifecta. The Hierophant also has that same image, as well as the Six of Pentacles. It's like the one above and then the two below. So see how their chains can easily come off? You're recognizing it's okay that I'm the common denominator. This isn't like a chance to double down and be like, oh, I'm a son of a nutcracker because I've been judging, or I've been this, or I've been doing it wrong. It's just a chance to do things differently. It's just a choice point, another fork in the road to be like, oh, I get to try another way. Beautiful. I love it. Following your own advice and your own judgments. Sarah, what does that mean? So I mentioned this in my tarot reading yesterday, which was micro adjustments. Which was, I was chatting with a friend. It was the day before the full moon last week. And I was telling her a little bit of a story where it was, I have a standard that the people around me aren't allowed to yell. If you don't have emotional intelligence, you can't communicate, then you can't come into my space. And that is a trauma response from being in, verbally abusive relationships, blah, 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 all these different stories. And, I'm leaning into, like, I allow random people on YouTube to comment, I let the world. But it was interesting what she said to me. She goes, I saw this video on YouTube, or it was on Instagram. She goes, and it was about this full moon that we have coming up. And it was just called, like, be in what you're in. And, saying if you're mad, just be mad. If you're sad, be sad. If you're frustrated, be frustrated. She's like, wait. Oh, wait, it was on your channel. It was your advice that you gave. And I'm literally sitting with my friends, like, I don't want to hit the mic, but like, oh yeah, that was my advice. That was my advice. So what I took from that is allowing people to be and express themselves however they need to, knowing that it's not a reflection of me. But if people are having a reaction, the closest people to me, if they're pissed off, allow them to be pissed off. Not trying to force their speech and fuss their speech and be like, you can't have this reaction, you can't do this, or else I can't hold space for you. If they're pissed, allow them to be pissed. If they're frustrated, allow them to be frustrated. In the same way when Sybil is, Sybil Delicious, but then when she's Sybil the Vicious, you're like, I love you either way. Yeah. There's Sybil Delicious, Sybil Auspicious, and Sybil the Vicious. And you never know. You never know who you're going to get. Right, babe? Right. And so follow your own advice. And so it's like, what advice are you giving on a regular basis? Or what advice do you have, like, a girlfriend or a gentleman friend that you're just like, every time you see them, you say just like, go do this, go do this. What words are you speaking out your mouth on a regular basis that says to the people around you? Or, what common denominator do you see in your external? Like, oh, my gals, like, they all need to level up their men. Or, just let your kid be their kid, but be themselves. Or, a lot of people are stepping into homeschooling and doing these types of things. It's like, really look at what you have been giving for advice on a regular basis and ask yourself, like, how you can integrate that in your own life. And I've given this advice before, but your judgments can also be your biggest teacher. What do you mean by that, Sarah? You see someone that's living a life that's displeasing to you. And you're like, oh, look at you out there. Look at you. You're so wrong in your belief system and your way of life. Lean in with love and say, thank you. Oh my goodness. Thank you for living this life. Thank you for taking on that soul contract. That is so displeasing for my human being, for my soul. Like, that is so triggering for me. Thank you for taking that on. I appreciate it. We are all perfect. We're all needed in this soap opera of planet Earth right now. So thank you for doing that, because that's a contract that I would not want to have. So thank you so much for doing that. And and when it comes to brain functions, you are not your first thought. You are your second thought and first action. That was a phrase that I learned when I was studying anxiety and I was getting to know my human brain. Your brain is a muscle, and it's going to label something based on all the life that you've lived before it. So you don't have to take responsibility for every single thought that comes into your brain. So when you have a thought, you see something outside of you that's triggering, and the bam comes up, the like judgment comes up. Say, okay, thank you, brain. You're healthy. You're functioning. Oh my God, I didn't even see you there. Sorry, baby. You're healthy. You're functioning. You're doing a beautiful thing. I'm actually going to lead with gratitude here and just say thank you for taking on that contract so I don't have to. That's displeasing to me. Brain, if you want something to focus on, say this is my actual biggest problem in my life right now. What would you do about that? Give me some ideas about that. And you can really just focus that brain onto something different, and it'll give you something that maybe you're like, what? That's what you think? Like, this is the way. That's what's going on. Your brain is a limitless muscle. So use it. Don't get mad and double down over the thought and say, like, I got to figure this out. Do that in your sleep. Put on some, sleeping meditation, some affirmations, some unconscious and subconscious programming, and then work with your day as you can when you're awake, and then do all the other stuff later on, because nothing's actually going to shift and change unless you like get to the subconscious programming and stuff like that, which is when it comes to brain stuff. So follow your own advice, try something new on, don't be the fly, and let people in. Yeah, let people in. lean in right now. We're going into Pisces season starts tomorrow. So one of the biggest pieces of advice that I gave in my 2025 workbook is, surrounding yourself with winners, but how to best navigate confusing times, especially for my Northern Hemisphere people where it's, dark and dreary and cold and we're just miserable and the wind is, disrupting the lives. Have a mental health check-in. Whether it's an accountability buddy or a therapist or someone, really have a check-in with yourself and have someone else judge you. Have someone else say, hey, how do you think I'm doing right here? And invite someone in. Don't let any of the situations that have ever happened to you or any of the judgments that you've had of yourself stop you from developing and inviting people in. I love you. I'll see you next week for Monday's Live. I can't control the weather, so I'm not going to apologize again, but it wasn't my intention to not have the live today. So I love you. I'll see you next week.